Okay. So my first job was a milkmaid for a dairy. I gave tours. And one of the things I learned way back then is there's somebody who always knows more than you do. And I was stubborn and I thought I knew it all because I was a teenager. And that's fine and dandy until you get kicked by a cow. And then you learn to ask, how do you not get kicked again? Mm-hmm. And I always took that to heart. And then I became a teacher. And I had students all the time who were like, oh, miss, you don't know what the real world's like. I was like, yeah, I've never lived in the real world, where you're eating cheese sandwiches because you can't afford ramen because it's too expensive. And you learn there's somebody who always knows more than you do. So if you want to get good at something and you don't want to make mistakes, you find a coach. You find that person who knows more than you and you ask them. Because I can guarantee it doesn't matter if you are the richest person on the earth, the wisest person on the earth, they want to share that information. Because the true wealth that an individual owns is what they can share. And sometimes it may not be money, it may not be eggs, it may be their knowledge. And if they aren't willing to share their knowledge, then you don't need their knowledge anyway.
Very, very well said. I think one of my other coaches said something like, if you have knowledge, always share it. Because it's one thing to keep it to yourself, but it's another thing where if you keep on sharing it, you can spread that information, help other people achieve certain successes and certain goals too. And if you're just keeping it to yourself, you're just selfish.
I read a quote a couple of days ago by Gandhi, and I believe it was Gandhi, and it was the sign of a true leader is that leaders build leaders. And I completely messed that up. But the gist of it is if you really want to be a leader, you're going to create more leaders. You're going to find a way to spread the knowledge that you have and build yourself up by building others up.
Very, very true. Now, based on this conversation and previous conversations I have had with you, it seems pretty safe to say that when you see adversity, challenges, you find the humor in it. You find the positives in it because of the
Oh,
way
yeah.
you speak and all that kind of stuff. So how do you tell other people or recommend people to kind of create that sense of mindset? To look at things from that point of view so that it's more fun and it's easier to become more successful because you're willing to try different things. You're willing to face that adversity and see failure and learn from it. Because without that mindset, it's not possible.
Somebody wise out there once said, if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at? And if you are always looking at the bad things in life, if you're looking at a deal and you're only seeing the problems, if you're looking at a property and you're only seeing the fact that the roof's caving in and there's a water leak and there's a skunk sitting in the middle of the living room, you're going to be miserable. You're never going to find a good deal. You're only seeing the bad in life. If you take that house, that one with the roof leak, the one with the water issues, the skunk that somehow got in that house, probably through the roof, and you think, if I add a pretty scented candle, fix the plumbing, and fix the roof, I can flip this house for 100 grand. And I've just made some money off of something that everybody else was willing to throw away. The worst things in life only make you stronger. And you've got to see the humor in life. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable.
How is success like a unicycle?
Success is like a unicycle because it takes persistence. We have a librarian down in South Texas. He travels from all the little local libraries. His name is Mr. Kippy, and guess what? He rides a unicycle. And this gentleman, he is the ideal person that you want to put your students around, put your children around, because he's encouraging, he's persistent, he's loving, and he loves a good book, and he's willing to share that with kids. He's what a good leader should be. And it all started with his love of a unicycle. And I
Nice.
swear, look up Mr. Kippy.
So that's how success is like a unicycle.